Hello, my name is Tristan, also known as VIP LS400 on TikTok, and this is my 1996 Nissan 240SX. And yes, it is a certified shitbox, but the goal of this channel is to change that. This car has put me through absolute hell. It has lost me relationships, it has taken time away from work and friends, but for some reason, I just can't seem to stop working on it. And you guys get to enjoy my mania and overspending and craziness because I plan on making this thing an absolute monster. The goal of this channel is to show you that with some time, patience, a place to work on your car and a toolbox, you can build your dream car too. So let's talk about everything I've done to the car so far. Right now we have these 50mm charge speed rear over fenders that I have mocked up. I've yet to do the cut on the quarter panel because that's a very crazy and invasive process that can go wrong really, really fast. So that's gonna be next video. We'll see how that turns out. We have these 30mm BN Sports front fenders, and my favorite part of the car by far is these SSR Hosemi Pro GT wheels. I had to beg the guy that owned these wheels to sell them to me, and I overpaid by a lot, but I love them so much. On my LS400, I have SSR Koenigs. On my Tacoma, I have Stealth Custom Series 5 spokes. I love a good 5-spoke design, and I wanted to carry that into my 240 build. Just like people, cars have a good side. This is not the good side. When I bought the car originally, I thought it was in good enough shape to be like, all right, body kit, some paint, and we're good to go, but that was not the case at all. When I started pulling the car apart and sanding it, I started realizing I'm not reaching metal around here. Like, what's going on? And I kept going and going, and eventually that turned into a hammer and chisel, and I was removing that much Bondo from the car, and it was heartbreaking. I mean, it was toast. The metal was so crumpled, the rocker panel went in so deep, like this was indented by like 3/4 of an inch. It just wasn't working. So what I had to do is buy an entire parts car, section off what was good of the quarter panel and the rocker panel. I ended up replacing the entire rocker panel on this car. I learned how to weld, thought it turned out pretty good. This repair has seemed to be pretty controversial on TikTok. Some people are saying it'll outlast the entire life of the car, and some people are saying it's the worst thing they've ever seen, which I think is a little bit much, but it's definitely not pretty. I can tell you that. It's gonna be covered up by the over fenders anyway. So what I did is I welded up the B-pillar, I plug welded the rest of it, but I wanted to double up the metal here, use a lot of panel bond, and rivet it so that it would be really, really strong since I'm gonna be cutting this area for the over fenders. Some people didn't really like that. They can go home. So this is a JDM Koki wing rep. I was not able to find a genuine OEM wing. It is supposedly one piece from what I saw on the photos online, but hopefully that's the case. If it's 3-piece, I'm gonna be pretty bummed out. So we have our trunk here. It has these holes that were drilled already from the factory OEM spoiler. What we're gonna do is unbox this, see if these holes line up, and if they don't, we're gonna have to fill them in with some sheet metal, weld, and put some fiberglass over them, and drill some new holes. Maybe I should start a YouTube channel where I just unbox car parts. I would watch it. Oh, I think it's one piece. I think it's one piece. Perfect. A lot of the Koki like 3-piece wings, they kind of seem to have like problems with just the fit and finish of them. They have these screws that go into the side, and they can be like janky and wobbly. But hopefully that's not the case with this. All right, unboxing part 2 begins now. It's got a nice black gel coat on it. A little bit of a ding, no big deal. All parts, especially fiberglass parts, will require some body work. I mean, yeah, guys, it actually looks pretty decent for a rep Koki wing. The true way we can see if this was actually a successful purchase is let's lay it on top of the deck lid and see if it actually fits. Oh, okay. It is very, 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 very close. All right, now that we know that that spoiler fits well enough to justify covering these holes, let's bust the welder out, start cutting some sheet metal, and get these filled. I'm gonna be using some of this mild sheet metal. It's a 22 gauge. I wish I could have gone something with like 18, but this is all they had at Home Depot, and I felt 16 gauge would just be a little bit too difficult to work with. I'm just gonna go ahead and cut a decent sized little square out of the corner. And just go piece by piece. Right, that looks like a nice sized piece. Let's start whittling it down. I'm just gonna lay this on top and use this little paint marker at the bottom and just sort of trace out the area. I'm gonna go ahead and use the snippers to sort of clean the edges up a little bit and then use a angle grinder to really refine the edge. You can see here I got the circle cut out. We're gonna put it on this little welding magnet and let's check the tolerance. You can see this is slightly raised, so we're gonna take a body hammer and give it a couple taps and hopefully get it nice and level. All right, so this side is filled in. This side is just about done. Just one more hole left. All right, trunk's all welded up. Now it's time to wait until tomorrow to do all the grinding and everything because my neighbors will complain about how loud it is and it's actually pretty late now, so. All right, next day. I love seeing this thing in the garage. Man, I am so excited for this thing to be put together and just painted. But you gotta have fun along the way, right? All right, now time to grind these down and get the spoiler fitted up. If any of you guys live in Georgia, you guys know it just rains every day. Shawty little baddie, yeah, and she my little boo thing. All right, we got both sides of the deck lid ground down. Now, I'm gonna go in with some 40 grit on the orbital so that I can get the area roughened up for the short hair fiberglass I'm gonna be applying. Throughout the process of working on this car, I've used a whole bunch of fillers, and this one is my favorite. It's the U-Pole Fibrolite. It sort of behaves like the 3M Platinum Plus filler that I've been using in terms of like usability and just how easy it is to spread. But it's got the strength and all the great characteristics of fiberglass. Ooh, crack it open. Yummy. Now I'm just using some wax and grease remover to get this surface cleaned up. I like to get it nice and tight up against the surface. I know sometimes it requires more layers when you're spreading thin, but at the end of the day, it creates a surface with less pinholes. So the first layer of fiberglass is dried, and honestly, the surface feels pretty even, so I'm gonna go ahead and knock it back with some heavy grit sandpaper and see what other work we're gonna have to do to make this even. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna give it a skim coat of some 3M Platinum Plus filler. When it comes to doing body filler work on your car, if you're planning on keeping it for a while, I definitely recommend investing in a more expensive and higher rated body filler. Bondo will do the job, but this stuff really knocks it out of the park. It's not too heavy. Watch this thing just fall backwards and explode on the rear glass. That would be my luck. Oh. It feels so good to start putting this car back together again, even though I'm just gonna end up taking this off to paint it. But the trunk's all bolted back up, the locking mechanism is on, and yeah, I tested it with the key to make sure that when we close it, we don't ruin our day. So, moment of truth. Yes, sir. Oh, I love seeing this car come back together. Let's go ahead and get the spoiler mocked up. All right, I just disassociated from reality for like 4 hours. I'm gonna go to Walmart and get some cardstock so I can make a stencil for this. And let's get this thing mounted tonight. So that's taped down. Now I'm gonna look and just use this little pick and sort of make my hole right there. And now I'm gonna go to the other side, poke a hole there too. We're gonna move on to the bottom. You only need a little bit of tape on the back side because we're gonna be taping these down with a lot more so that when we pull it off, it's gonna be on the trunk and then we can drill our holes. And that's it, we've made our stencil. All right, so we got everything lined up. We have our little guides taped down so that hopefully when we lift this spoiler off, we're gonna be in a good spot. All right, it's the next day. Let's drill these holes and get this spoiler on. Well, I hope it fits. Come on. Yo, this jaunt looks hyper tough. Oh, whoa. It's set up just right. Alrighty, so next week's video is going to be the over fender cut, which is something that I've been dreading doing for a long time because it's just scary. But now I'm actually really excited to do it and show you guys the whole process. I'm also going to be doing a video covering the mounting of the over fenders. Street Faction is sending over a bash bar for the front of the car, and the rest of the KBD body kit actually arrived today. There are 2 rooms in my house filled to literally the ceiling with parts for the S14 and the LS400. So there's a ton of content, a ton of stuff to do to these guys. And also, we're gonna be doing a lot of work under the hood. I know some of you guys have been asking, like, you're doing all this cosmetic stuff, what about performance? I'm looking at the answer to that off screen right now, and it's gonna be gnarly. So thank you guys for sticking around. I've always wanted to do this sort of thing. I've always had a passion for filmmaking and cars, and now I get to combine the two, and I'm really grateful for that. So thanks. Mwah.